Right. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Murrumbidgee Council's August meeting. In a spirit of open, accessible and transparent government, and to ensure this meeting is open to the public, this council meeting is being recorded and live streamed to the Murrumbidgee Council Facebook page. A recording will also be placed on Council's website following the meeting. I'll ask for any apologies, please.
Councillor Gilbert and Councillor Strawn submitted their apologies. Okay.
Somebody like to move that these apologies be accepted? Move Councillor Turkey, seconded Councillor Bryce. I put that recommendation. Those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, carried. Thank you. We move to the confirmation of the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on the 26th of July 2022. Somebody like to move? Move Councillor Turkey, seconded Councillor Major. Those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, carried. Thank you. I remind everybody of any pecuniary interest declarations. If anybody has one and hasn't handed in a form, please do so now. There are no notices of rescission, no notices of motion. I will now move to the mayoral report. Our council area, like most others, is receiving varying degrees of rain. Some parts are very wet, which is causing delays, and other parts are getting just enough to keep their bumper season going. And the wet weather undoubtedly is taking a toll on our road network. I urge you all to be mindful of our road usage in these wet times. Our roads are our biggest asset, and the damage that is caused when wet weather is upon us is difficult and very costly to remediate. Please be careful whilst driving and be ever mindful of our school buses. The Darlington Point community hosted the Pig Day Out on the 19th of August 2022, funded by the New South Wales Government and supported by Murrumbidgee Council and many other organisations and businesses. This unique event attracted approximately 1,800 people, young and old. The piglets, trained to perfection, were entertaining and amazingly agile and adept at completing their courses. Well done to the organising committee and the providers of the entertainment. Thursday the 4th of August 2022, Council hosted Connecting with a Counsellor. These sessions were targeted at the senior group within our primary schools. 2 sessions were held in Collyamberley for the children from Collyamberley Central School and St Peter's Primary School, and 1 session in Jerilderie for the Jerilderie Public School and St Joseph's Primary School combined at the council chambers. The children were very well versed on what local government does and provides. They asked informative questions and were great advocates for things they think our communities need. Most importantly, they were respectful and well behaved, a credit to all of their teachers and their schools. Our council has a bright future with these actively engaged minds in our midst. Councillors undertook a 2-hour bus tour of Darlington Point prior to our mid-monthly workshop. Our Darlington Point councillors had the opportunity to show us firsthand what they see as priorities. It was very worthwhile activity. The General Manager and I spent 2 days in Deniliquin attending a Ramjo strategic planning workshop, dinner and Ramjo board meeting. Defining our priorities to match the budget is the biggest challenge in this space. Whittled down for the foreseeable future, the priorities are housing infrastructure, health, water and digital connectivity. The General Manager and I attended a Zoom meeting with the advisor to the Federal Minister for Housing. This was a follow-up to a letter sent by Council on the 20th of June 2022. Given the critical shortage of all housing across Australia, it was reassuring to have been acknowledged and a meeting facilitated so quickly. Our General Manager, John, had the opportunity to promote an affordable housing initiative that could benefit and promote housing in our council footprint and would activate a collaborative approach engaging federal, state, local government and industry inclusively. We received a very fair hearing and a level of interest was garnered. I had the privilege of attending the Collyamberley Lions Club's 50th birthday celebrations on Saturday night. This service group is testament to the mantra that collectively much can be achieved. They have 31 members and that is because their fellowship is as important as their service. Well done to all involved. And below is a list of meetings I've attended since the July Council meeting. Thank you, everybody. Are there any questions? If not, somebody like to move. Move Councillor Black, seconded Councillor Churgren. I put that. Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against, carried. Thank you. We'll move to item 1, please.
Thank you, Councillor McRae. A few items to address today. Our first one being is internal reporting policy, which was revised. We first adopted that internal reporting policy in July 2017. In 2020, July, the Ombudsman developed a new model policy, which is what I'm proposing that Council adopts. A few questions within there to be answered is some of the things I'm proposing that the disclosure coordinator be the Director of Planning, Community and Development, as all things GIPA falls under his responsibilities, and disclosure officers within this policy be the Manager of Corporate Community Services along with the Finance Manager and the Information Services Manager. The second policy to be reviewed was the Public Interaction and Meeting Disclosure Policies to be revised. Currently, the Office of Local Government is developing a policy on lobbying. I found that the Office of Local Government is developing a model policy. The model policy will be developed before this, will not be developed before the statutory deadline for reviewing policies. So this policy that they're currently garnering responses from local government in formulating this policy will be around lobbying and a lot of the things that are disclosed within our meeting policies. So I'm just going to be recommending to Council that we adopt the current policy and wait for the model policy to come forth to see if we adopt that into the future once they've finished their work. Curbside collection. Over the next 12 months until we implement on the 1st of July, the new thing we're continually to educate and provide information to the community, putting information on social media and web pages and responding to questions as and when we can, once we know. We're still in the process of trying to finalise certain things. There'll be parts of the program which may influence how we move forward. We're asking at the moment about procuring a garbage truck and getting quotations from suitably qualified people to be able to provide them. Depending on the size of the truck that we can get in, if we can get the largest one, which I think is 29 cubic metres, then we might have the ability to actually trim some of our trips to Wagga and to Carrathul for our recycling and our organic waste, which could reduce the price at the overall end. So we're just waiting on that truck to come in to see what we can get, and then we'll rework those numbers. And if there's a way to actually collect all of the garbage, all the recycling and all of the food and organics in 3 separate trips, but not have to stop to unload, then there'll be some considerable savings at the end of the day. So we're just trying to work out on all of those and put that forward to the community and some of those things. Other questions that the community are also asking is if the different size bins that we've got, will there be different ratings and costings and things like that. So we're working through if that's going to be feasible and possible to be able to do that as well, given a lot of it is based on a lot of the costs. Like half the costs are around about the pickup, and the other half the cost is on the volume that goes through from external processes and landfills and things like that. So there possibly is some way to be able to massage the different costs for the different size bins at the end of the day. We're still working on that space as well. The previously approved break for myself over September, just a duck up to Ipswich, has been cancelled for the second time by external factors other than myself. So the period put forward before, I still want to take a couple of chunks of annual leave over November and December. The November meeting, I'm looking to have it as a hybrid between working remotely and annual leave, taking part in meetings that have to take place that I can do remotely, have been doing remotely for the past couple of years, so there's no problem continuing on all those sort of things. So it's probably about 30 to 40% will be annual leave, and the other time will be working remotely. Then again, also in December, from the 8th to from the 10th of December to the 8th of January inclusive. During that period, I also wish to recommend that Council appoint Gary Stoll, Director of Planning, Community and Development, to be appointed as Acting General Manager during my absence. I'll always be available at the end of the day for things like that, but usually that period of time is the best time to be able to take some leave to move ahead. So they will be recommending those things. The Stronger Country Communities Fund Round 5. This year, the allocation of around about $1.2, $1.3 million has been broken down to 70%. The only applicant can be the local government. So Murrumbidgee Local Council has been allocated $870,605 of the $1,266,334. The balance, the 400 odd thousand, or just shy of 400,000, has been the only applicants can be from eligible community organisations along that line. So encourage everybody in those community groups to put applications in for that other $396,000 or so, to put forward those applications and to work with council in relation to helping you complete those projects so that we can get them in and get them assessed. So in relation to the $807,605 that council can apply for, given decisions that we've had or direction I've had before is completing existing projects to have them finished and not be waiting on it, that I recommend that we allocate the whole $807,000 towards the Bromber Place revitalisation project in Coleambally. As we heard a couple of weeks ago in relation to the costs, steel prices have gone through the roof, and so this money should see us, it will see us to the end of completing the stage in front of the all the business houses there in Bromber Place, with the structure, the drainage, the footpathing, and the civil works and everything else involved in relation to that street. So I'll be recommending that go to that project to be able to finish off that. I've listed my movements over the next couple of months for council's information. So the recommendation that I put is that the contents of the General Manager's report be noted, and council repeal the current internal reporting policy and adopt an internal reporting policy as presented. Adopt the current public interaction and meeting disclosure policy as the reviewed policy to be adopted. Approve annual leave and working remotely for the General Manager, Mr. John Scarce, from the period of 4th to the 20th of November, inclusive. Approve annual leave for the General Manager for the period of 10th of December to the 8th of January 2023, inclusive. Authorise the private use of the motor vehicle in the state of Queensland, 4th to the 20th of November and the 10th to the 8th of January, inclusive. Appoint Mr. Gary Stoll, Director of Planning Community Development, as Acting General Manager for the period of 10th of December 2022 to the 8th of January 2023, and make application to the Stronger Country Communities Fund Round 5 for $870,605 for the Bromber Place revitalisation project in Coleambally. Any questions?
No questions. Somebody like to move, please? Move Councillor Curfew, second Councillor Price. I'll put the recommendation. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against, carried. Thank you. Item 2, please.
Item 2 is Tom.
Yep. Back flood prevention policy review. This policy obviously has been adopted back in council quite some time ago. The changes that I have indicated is formatting and layout, resulting to changes from the state governing legislation, clarifying responsibilities of council of plumbers and property owners, and there's removals of operation managers back to directors and amended reviews. And I ask for your adoption.
Okay, are there any questions of Tom, please, regarding this policy review? No? If not, somebody like to move? Move Councillor Black, seconded Councillor Major. I put the recommendation that the revised Murrumbidgee Council backflow prevention policy as presented be adopted by Council. Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against, carried. Thank you. Item number 3, please.
Yes, again, the drinking water quality policy review. Again, the changes of formatting and layout of the policy document, updates resulting in changes to the state government legislation and the removal of the operations manager replaced with the directors. I ask for Council's adoption.
Okay. I've only got a question, Tom. The third point here is you remove reference to the operation manager and replace with directors. Is that is just
director? Yeah.
Yeah. Is that just a management thing rather than a?
It's a title change.
It's a title change. Yeah.
Through
Okay.
the structure.
Okay. Through the org structure. Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Somebody like to move, please. Move Councillor Curfew, seconded Councillor Saxford. I'll put the recommendation which will read, the revised Murrumbidgee Council drinking water quality policy as presented be adopted by Council. Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against, carried. Thank you. Item number 4, please.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor. Councillors, this is a new policy, and I'm seeking a resolution from Council to place it on public exhibition. The draft cross-pan control policy was presented at Council workshop 1 or 2 months ago, where some minor changes were recommended in relation to where the policy applied to. So it now applies to the council areas, the irrigation areas, as previously suggested. So that change has been made. Now presented to Council's consideration to go on to a 28-day exhibition period.
Councillor Curfew, seconded Councillor Jerwin. Are there any questions of Gary?
Have they been used yet?
Yes.
Sorry.
And
Do you hear them?
No, there's been no complaints that I'm aware of.
Gary?
Madam Mayor, they went through a period of testing, which is part of the DA consent, with the notification to all the adjoining landowners to get some more data from the actual site itself after they constructed a certain number of 20. They're now up to close to 40, and they've been given an interim occupation or use approval, so they can continue to erect them and use them.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions or comments? If not, I'll put the recommendation which will read, the draft Murrumbidgee Council frost control plan policy as presented be endorsed and placed on public exhibition for a period of 28 days, seeking public comment. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. Item number 5, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you, this is another new policy for Council's consideration. And again, I'm seeking a resolution to place it on public exhibition for 28 days. The single-use plastics policy was presented to Council workshop again 1 or 2 months ago. Where it was discussed, and we're now at the stage where we can seek approval to exhibit it for 28 days.
We'd like to move, please. Move Councillor Bryce, seconded Councillor Major. Are there any questions of Gary, please? If not, I'll put the recommendation which will read, the draft Murrumbidgee Council single-use plastics policy as presented be endorsed and placed on public exhibition for a period of 28 days, seeking public comment. Those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Carried. Thank you. Item 6, please.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor. This next policy is the mobile food vending policy. It's an upgrade of an existing policy, which was presented to a workshop a couple of months ago. At that workshop, Council made several comments in relation to possible sites of 3 towns of where we deemed that mobile food vending policies will be limited to. This is council-owned land. We've included a map now of those 3 sites. The car park behind the council chambers Geraldry, we're limited to the line of third review of council terms. At Colliamley, the council car park in Murrumbidgee Place, and here in Darlington Point, the end section of the car park at the swimming pool, rather than the entire car park was originally suggested. It's now only a limited area. So those changes have been made. The other changes was to bring in line the state policy on mobile food vendors. The operating hours from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Those changes have been made and now seeking. Because of those changes, it was considered prudent to go out and seek public comment on that, considering the feedback we have had from one shop owner. It's worthwhile going public consider for 28 days.
Okay. Somebody like to move, please? Move Councillor Saxvick, seconded Councillor Churgwin. Are there any questions of Gary? I'll put the recommendation, which will read the draft Murrumbidgee Council mobile food vendor policy as presented be endorsed and placed on public exhibition for a period of 28 days, seeking public comment. I'll put the recommendation. Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. Item 7, please.
Again, we're looking at another review as part of our review of policies. The first of these is the statement of business ethics. We've been through this at a workshop and other than adding the review clause, changing the formatting and updating a reference about the statement of vision and priorities to refer to the community strategic plan, and removing a little bit of replicated information from the statement. Same policy.
Somebody like to move, please? Move Councillor Major, seconded Councillor Percy. Are there any questions of Caitlin, please? Okay, if not, I'll put the recommendation, which will read the revised statement of business ethics as presented be adopted by Council. Put the recommendation. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you.
Item 8 is the payment of expenses and provision of facilities. So in this instance, we're looking at replacing the existing policy with the terms of the policy that's provided by the Office of Local Government. Again, this has been workshopped fairly extensively with the Council, and the changes are summarised in the papers, but probably the most substantial of those include introducing monetary limits, which are required by the guidelines, and just updating the policy to reflect current expenses and facilities. And just making some adjustments that are more appropriate for our outward area. So we're proposing to requesting legal from Council to place this policy on public exhibition for a period of 28 days.
Okay, somebody like to move, please? Move Councillor Ross, seconded Councillor Major. Are there any questions of Caitlin? I think, as Caitlin explained, we workshopped this quite extensively, and it identifies the clarification around the 11 issues that we identified. So the recommendation will read the council expenses and facilities policy as presented be endorsed and placed on public exhibition for a period of 28 days, seeking public comment. I'll put the recommendation. Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. Item 9, please.
Item 9 is again another policy review. So this is the related party disclosures policy, which relates to our annual reporting under the accounting standards. The changes again were workshopped with councillors, and basically, again, a listed there in detail, but probably the main points to note are that we've added some clauses to stipulate that we'll be reviewing the materiality of transactions before including them all in the financial statements, removing some representative information, updating some positions again, the policy we talked about earlier, changing the timing around when some of those notifications are required, just to make them more practical. Removing references to the maintenance of the register of related party transactions, just to reflect our current practice. We don't believe that such a register is required given the low volume of transactions. And just updating the form with supplementary information to collect better information to use in that reporting process. And adding the two financial officers to the definition of key management personnel. So then we're just seeking adoption by council of this policy.
Okay, somebody like to move, please. Move Councillor Major, seconded Councillor Curfew. Are there any questions of Caitlin? If not, we'll put the recommendation that will read the revised related party disclosures policy as presented be adopted by council. I'll put the recommendation. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against, carried. Thank you. We are now up to the reports of the council committees. Item 10, Murrumbidgee Party Towns Committee. Councillor Bryce, would you like to speak to this?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I will table this as our previous minutes from July. We had some weather. We haven't actually done any cleanups or such. We assisted the Apex in the cleaning up after the BNS. I'd like to congratulate the Apex and all associated clubs in the successful BNS board. After a 2-year hiatus of not having one, they had a fabulous turnout and everything ran smoothly as far as I know. I did have a question as to the running of other events where Tidy Towns assists with things, as to the implications when our 355 committee, all of our members are willing volunteers, and as to whether they are always covered under 355 committee management implications when assisting another organisation which isn't a 355 committee, and we are looking forward to getting those guidance when they come through. The Park Run IC committee has been successful in getting a grant from GrainCorp. I also need some guidance there to pass on to that committee as to their implications of running that event on council land, because I believe that's where they will run their park run, and fear they have not indicated to council that that's what they will do. So I will need some guidance on that. And that's what came out of that meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Bryce. To clarify, I guess what you're talking about is if the Tidy Towns Committee is asked to assist or do something at another event that doesn't have 355 coverage, can you give us clarification on that?
I would say, without going into the detail of absolutely everything, if you've received a letter, say from the Apex Club, to come and assist, and you've resolved to go do that, then you're going across there as the 355, which is voluntary cover at the end of the day.
And that's good clarification. And the park run issue?
All I could say is that they get in contact with Eden to run through the events things if they haven't already, and that would be the best way to go. Just get them in contact with Eden, she'll walk them through everything.
Thank you. Are there any further questions of Councillor Bryce? If not, would somebody like to move that the minutes of the Tidy Towns Committee be noted? Councillor Bryce, seconded Councillor Churgwin. Those in favour say aye. Those against, carried. Thank you. We will move to item 11, please.
Item 11 is the monthly cash investment report, just provided as information for councillors. I will note the overinvestment in still an issue, but again, we're still working on investing ourselves in those investments, so that will happen gradually, probably in the next couple of months. Our current investment with through the where that's all sitting at the moment. I will note that the when comparing our rate of return against the benchmark rate that we've set out, obviously we're below that management benchmark. I believe that that's a result of essentially only having 1 month of figures, and we've got longer term investments that we invested in 6 months ago. Obviously we're not right, so I believe that's what's driving that. So once we collect more data in the longer term, that will feed through.
Okay. Somebody like to move? Move Councillor Major, seconded Councillor Kirby. Are there any questions of Caitlin, please? Councillor Major.
Yeah, just you touched on it, Caitlin. It's about not meeting the benchmark, or just whether we need a rolling sort of benchmark rather than a monthly one.
It will be. So we've only commenced reporting it from the start of the year, but we will. It will be a year-to-date benchmark that we'll report, and then I'm hoping that after 12 months, we will have a 12-month basis.
Any further questions of Caitlin, please? Did I do moved? Yes, I did, Major and Curfew. So I put the recommendation which will read, Council note the monthly cash and investment report containing the bank balances and schedule of investments as at the 31st of July 2022. Those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Carried. Thank you. Item 12. Gary.
Yep.
Gary.
Item 12 is the 6 applications approved for council's information.
Okay. Somebody like to move? Councillor Churgman, seconded Councillor Saxon. Are there any questions of Gary, please? I'll put the recommendation which will read the information contained in the development applications approved under delegation of July 2022 be noted. Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you, everybody.
We're still